Hello everyone, Lila's Gigi here, and today I'm going to show you how to make, actually this is called Something Hopeful. Michaela had to change the name because it was already taken. So it is a 6-pin bar design. I'll be showing you how to make that today. If you are not following Clark Michaela, give her a follow for me. Go on and take a look at her photos and like them. She has some very awesome designs on here, very colorful, very, whoops, not enough on there, huh? Very pretty. So give her a follow for me. Excuse me. So this is a 6-pin bar design, all of your pins straight across, okay? Arrows pointing away from you, open in, make sure they're all open, going the same way away from you, okay? Oh goodness, Sebastian's just going to town over there. So what I'm going to do is drop a band right here, and I'll be using that for my closure band, okay? And we want to do the border straight across, and I am beading my border. Here they are. I was like, where'd they go? With these little gold beads. I was originally going to use white and green and a yellow in here, but I'm afraid that that's a little out of my comfort zone for colors on this kind of a bracelet. So I've changed it up a little bit. I'll be using white and gold and black, and I'm not sure what else at this point. So, okay, so let's go ahead and finish this on the other side. I can pick those up. Okay, so straight up, beaded band, get a hold of it. If you're using the beads, you don't, of course, don't have to. So, just like that. So I'm going to end up taking this all the way to the end because it has a pattern in it. So if you're using the beads, it'll be plain band, beaded band, plain band, beaded band, all the way up to the end of your loom, and then bring them together right here, and you'll have a gap in the center at the top. So just bring them in to here at the top, and I'll be back when I finish mine. Okay, I am back, and this is what your loom should look like, and I'll take you up to the top. At the top, I went up and brought it over twice, up and brought it over twice, and left this gap. We'll be putting a cap band on there later. Okay, so next we're going to do is we're going to do the pattern. I'm choosing black sweets, I'm so sorry, cylindric black from my Yin and Yang pack. We're going to go to the 3rd pin bar, 1st pin, straight up. From there, we have a diagonal to the left, and then straight across to the left. Going to mirror that on the other side. 3rd pin bar from the right, 1st pin, straight up, diagonal up and to the right, and then straight across. Okay, just like that. Okay, so now this one is very similar, but a little different. Going to do is we're going to go where we left off here. So 1, 2, 3, the 4th pin bar from the top on the left-hand side. 4th pin, not pin bar. Going to go over to the left. We are going to go diagonal from there to the right. Up twice. And then diagonal up to the left. And then straight down. So we're going to mirror that on the other side. Right hand side, 4th pin bar, whoops, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4th pin bar up, out to the left, diagonal to the left, up twice, diagonal to the right, and then out to the right, to the border. Okay, make sure you push your bands down. This bracelet has a lot of potential for blinging, but I have to admit I really don't like beading, and I usually have my sister do it, but she's not here, so there won't be a lot of bling on here, just the ones on the side, and then there's another spot where I'm going to put these, I believe. Okay, so hopefully that's the right color I chose. Otherwise, I'll change the color. All right, so then what you're going to do is you're going to go up to the next one from where you left off here. You're going to go up and repeat that pattern right here that we just did, okay, until you get to the top. I will finish mine, and once I get to the top, once you finish this last pattern, just come back, and hopefully I will have mine finished by then, and I will show you how to end that pattern at the top. Okay, I am back, and we're going to finish off this dark pattern, the black one that I have here. So you're going to go straight up from where you left off here, the next pin up, diagonal, and then straight up to the border. Okay, make sure you push all those pins down. I'm going to go over to the other side and just mirror that. So out to the right, diagonal to the left, and then straight up. Okay, and pushing down all those bands. All right, so this is what your design or your loom should look like right now. Okay, so I'm going to lay the next, excuse me, I'm going to lay the next border pattern. There are 2 of them, and I'm going to do it in this Ellie, the gold, the shiny one. Okay. Very simple. First pin bar, first pin, diagonal up to the right, diagonal up to the right, straight across, and then diagonal down to the left twice. I'm sorry, up to the left twice. 1 and 2. Okay? So you're going to follow that pattern all the way up. So once you've done that last diagonal to the right, you're going to go to the right diagonal, to the right diagonal, straight up to the diagonal, I'm sorry, straight up, and then diagonal to the left and diagonal to the left. So you want to complete that pattern all the way up to the end of your loom. And I'm going to mirror it on the other side. I'm just going to do one of them with you. Okay, so last pin bar, first pin, diagonal to the left, diagonal to the left, straight up, diagonal to the right, bring that down some, and diagonal to the right. And then from here you would do 2 diagonals to the left, straight up, and then diagonal, diagonal. So you would mirror the other side here. Okay, so go ahead and finish that pattern, and then I will be back with you when I finish mine. I am back, and as you can see, I finished this border pattern, this pattern all the way to the border. Okay, and this is what your loom should look like, just like that. Okay, so remember, I don't know if I told you or not, I beaded some of the black bands with this little gold rhinestone spacer bead here. So I'm going to use those. Now, what we're going to do is where you have your 2 black bands or your 2 bands in the center for that pattern. Okay, we are going to start to the left and bring 2 bands to the center and go over to the right, starting from the outside and bringing 2 bands to the center. Okay, so make sure you push all those bands down. All right, so then going to take your beaded band, if you have beaded one, and put it right here. If you have not beaded one, I believe you're still going to put a band there, but I believe you probably need to have something beaded here, because I think these are going to come back to each other, and they won't be able to go back to each other. Well, you know what, I'm not sure about that looping section of it, but I went ahead and added a bead there anyway. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sections that we're going to do that on, so I may as well just go ahead and do that with you since there's only 4. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm not going to finish them up, but I am going to go ahead and do this one because I think I can remember to do that. Okay. So then I'm going to lay my beaded band across the center. Okay. So make sure you do that for all of your, where you have the double bands up the center. Make sure that you lay these starting from the outside in and in, and then that cross band right there. Okay. Excuse me. So next what we're going to do is we're going to lay X's. Okay. And let me get to that part in the flipogram. So sorry. Excuse me. So starting right here, first, oh, let me pull these out. I'm using the metallic gold for this. Okay. So we're going to start second pin bar, first pin, up to the left. Finish, goodness, Sebastian, finish that X. Okay. Where you left off, you're going to make it diagonal to the left first. Drop down, finish that X. Okay, I'll do that with you one more time. Out to the left first, here, and then one more right here. Oops. Okay. Now make sure when you come back after you've done with this that you actually push all those bands down as far as you can get them, okay? So finish these X's on that side, and then we're going to go over and do the exact same thing over here. Going to start next to the last pin bar, second pin, diagonal, whoops, sorry, first pin, second pin bar from the right, first pin, diagonal up to the right, and then finish that X. Going to go up to the second pin, to the right, close out that X. One more time. Right here, third pin up to the right and to the left. So go ahead and finish that all the way up. Don't forget to put your beads in the center, like I did here, and then finish these X's all the way up to the end of your loom. Okay, I am back and I finished my X's. Last one went here and there, and the other one went to the outside and then across towards the center, and this is what your loom should look like. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add single chains up 2 and 5. Okay, and I want to throw a little bit of color in here. I don't know how it's going to look, but I'm going to use this green sparkly LE. So straight up, and straight up. Just wanted to add a little bit of color. You need to make sure that you push these down really, really well because we still have bands to put in the center, and I believe most of those, I think they're all going to be X's. Oh goodness, and look at this. I thought I had pushed everything down, but I didn't. So, first pin, second pin bar from the right, straight up, and straight up. So finish that all the way up the end of your loom. Make sure that you push all of those bands down really, really well, okay? And then I will be back. What I think I'm going to use next in the center here, I'm going to use the white from the Yin and Yang. Yeah, for those X's. Hopefully there's not too much stretching going on. So finish that all the way up, and I will be back with you. Okay, I am back, and I finished my single chains all the way up to the top, and this is what your loom should look like. Okay, so now we're going to work on the center here. So we're going to leave this spot open right now. We're not going to touch that, okay? So what we are going to do is we're going to go second pin bar, second pin, going to lay a band just like this, and then down. So that's one X. Going to do another one right here, and then another one from where you just left off, up diagonal to the right, and then down diagonal and to the right. Okay? Now, we're going to lay 3 of these, so they will be in between where these single chains are right here. Okay, so those 3 sets are going to be in between these single chains. Now, she laid a bead in here. Now I want to use my rhinestone, so I'm going to finish this X right here first off before I get any further. And I had some rhinestones, and the problem is that they were really small and I couldn't get anything through but the clear. So I'm going to go ahead and use the clear here instead of, I think she had used black in her flipogram. But I'm going to use the clear and hope that it works out right because it's next to white, so it should be okay. So I'm going to do this X right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and use, I may as well just go ahead and use the clear, okay? It might look a little funny, but hopefully it'll be okay. We'll see. All right, and then I'm going to finish that X down, diagonal up to the right, and then diagonal down. Okay, then we're going to do one more layer of, or one more level, so that's 1, 2, we're going to do one more level of X's. So 1, 2, 3, 4 pins up on the second pin bar, to the left, down to the right, up to the left, down to the right, and then one more here, up to the left and down to the right. Okay, you will do that exact same thing where these 2 pins are, 2 bands are right here. You're going to skip this section right here and then start right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins up, and it will look just like the bottom. So lay your X's along there, excuse me, all the way across. Do this one more time here, and then up, and then down. Okay, so I will be right. So I am back. Sorry about that. My daughter came to pick up my granddaughter, whom I had to take to Taekwondo today. So much fun. She just turned 8. My granddaughter did anyway. Okay, so we laid the first row right here. We're going to go ahead and lay the next row. And again, I'm using these little rhinestones. So, and because the rhinestones are on one side, I have to lay them face down. Hopefully this is going to come out because I'm using clear here. So keeping my fingers crossed. Okay, so you need to really push those down. And let me get the same color, which is a clear here. Okay, and then one more here, diagonal to the right, and diagonal, oops, oh yeah, diagonal down. Sorry, I threw myself off because that's clear. All right, so you're going to go up to the next row and lay that down, diagonal up, diagonal down, pushing those bands down, diagonal up, and diagonal down. Okay, so I showed you where to place these. So you'll actually, this will be, right here will be in between your rows of X's, and then we'll be coming back and doing that. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up above these 2 and start right here, laying those X's across here with whatever it is that you're using in the center, and then X's across here. Okay, when you get down to the bottom or the top of this loom, you'll lay your X's here, here, and here, 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 and here, and then across here, and then we will leave this open because that will come next. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish mine up, and then I will be back with you when I'm finished. I am back, and I finished my crosses, my X's right here. So the last thing I laid was this X here, and then this one across the top. Okay, And this is what your loom should look like. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those sections, okay? Excuse me. So I was trying to decide what color to use with these, with the gold and stuff. So, you know, and I was only going to put a little bit of this green here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and lay it for my starburst. It should be pretty. It's nice and sparkly, and I won't have to straighten the bands because they're cylindric. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay 1/4 of a starburst right here. Okay, so pretending that this is the bottom, I'm sorry, the middle, we're going to do the upper quadrant. So over, assuming that's the center again, diagonal left, and pushing that band down because it's in the way, and straight up. And I have pushed all of my bands down, by the way. You need to, because especially in the center, because you're going to be laying more bands there. All right, so 1, 2, 3 over from the right hand side, 3 pin bars, first pin. We're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to go out to the right, pushing that down straight up, diagonal. Not exactly straight up, was it? And then this one will be straight up, okay? And then we're going to connect these by a single band. Okay, so that's what this should look like. Okay, and these bands right here might throw you off because I used the green there, but it's okay. Just pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, right? Okay, so we're going to come up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pin bars. There go the dogs. 5 pin bars. And we're going to do a 1/2 a starburst. So straight up, this being the center pin, diagonal down to the left, and pushing those down, straight across, diagonal up to the left, and then straight up, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins up, 3rd pin bar from the right. I'm going to go straight up. Again, pretending that this is the center right here. Diagonal down and to the right. Straight across. And push those down. Diagonal up to the right. Straight up. And then right across the middle. Okay. So rewind if you have to. Because where these areas are blank here, that's where you're going to lay those 1/2 starbursts on each side, starting right here. Do the left one, so it'll be down, diagonal left, straight across, diagonal up to the left, straight up. Starting here, you go down, diagonal to the right, off to the right, straight up, diagonal, straight up, and then you will attach a band between these two, like I did right here. Okay, so rewind if you have to, pause me, and I'm going to go ahead and finish mine, and I will be back when I'm okay, so I am back, and we're at the top, so we still have this little section right here to do. So it is going to be like the lower left hand, this one will be like the lower left hand quadrant of the starburst. So 1, 2, 3 over, 2nd pin down, then it goes straight up, diagonal down to the left, and then straight across. Okay, we're going to do the other side, which will be straight up, a couple more bands, diagonal down to the right, and straight across. Okay, and don't forget to lay the band across here. All right, there. So make sure you finish that, and then we're going to go on. I believe that is it, and I'm going to show you what all this looks like, and then we will loop it up. So I'm going to just show it to you first, and then I'm going to turn it around, and then I will be back. So this is what your loom should look like. Okay, these are my 1/2 starbursts, one on each side, connected with a band here. The X's with my odd clear in the center because of this. Okay, just like that. All right, so this is the end of my loom. Now, like I said, I've got to go take care of my son real quick, and then I will be back with this turned around, and I will tell you where we need to put cap bands, and then we'll start looping. Okay, so I am back, and I was looking at this. You know, we're going to be looping up these quarter starburst here, and this seems awful loose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay a double band across there. So I just did a double cap band right here, and then I'm going to reach in and pull those two bands across. Okay, it just looked a little thin, you know, a little loose, and I couldn't tell on the flipogram if that was doubled or not. So you can put me on pause and then go ahead, and where these are across, I've already done these. Go ahead and do a double band across here, just a double cap band, and then bring it across so that it spans both of those. You see that there's two. I mean, it's one, but it's I doubled it up. Okay, so do that across all of those, and if it's wrong, I'll apologize ahead of time, but I had started to loop it up. Sometimes I'll do that to see, you know, if I have a question about it. I'll do that to see if it's going to look right, but just double the band that goes across these. Okay, and the same thing all the way up. So we'll need a cap band here and a cap band here. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to loop these quarter starbursts back to each other. So we're going to take the first one that's on top, which is the one that goes to the left, bring it back, grab the next one on top, which is the diagonal to the left, bring it back. Sorry about that. Okay. Reach in, grab the one that goes straight up. Now that looks much better. It looks like it's supposed to. I just think if you don't do that, it's going to be too loose. Okay, so reach in, grab the one that goes out to the right, bring it back. I'm going to grab this diagonal here, reaching in, grabbing that diagonal, loop it back, go in and get that last band that goes straight up and down, and loop it back. And this is what it should look like. Okay, I'm going to go up and do the next starburst, next set of half starbursts with you. Make sure that you've doubled this band here. Excuse me. So we're going to go in and take the first one that's going down, this one to the bottom. So go in, grab that band that goes down to the bottom, bring it back to itself. Grab this diagonal here, bring it back to itself. Just be careful that your bands don't snap. I'm using the gemstone, and they kind of have a tendency to snap, so I'm trying to be very careful with them. So bring all of those back to themselves. Get that diagonal, loop it back, and then the one that goes straight up and down, and loop it back. Okay, I'm going to go over to this side. I'm going to grab the one that goes straight up and down, loop it down. The diagonal is the next one. Bring it back to itself. One that goes straight across, bringing it back to itself. This diagonal, reach in and grab it, bring it back, and then the one that goes straight up and down. Okay, so go ahead and finish that, and then I will meet you back up at the top. So you have, if you've done that one, you have 3 more to do, and then I will meet you up here to finish this one off. Okay, see you back in a moment. Okay, I am back, and my big dog's talking to my husband. All he's doing is looking at her. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to finish up this lower quadrant starburst. So we're going to go in here and take the one that goes up and down. Whoop, I can get in there. Straight up and down, and, well, come on, Becky. Let's try it this way. Trouble. All right, there we go. And bring it back to itself. Bring it down. Grab the next one, the diagonal, bring it down. Go up and grab the one that goes off to the left. and bring it back to itself. Sorry, I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way. Okay, so we're going to go over here. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go in, grab the one that goes down to the bottom, bring it back, grab the diagonal, and bring it back, and then grab the one that goes across this way and bring it back. Okay, and this is what your loom should look like. Just like that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the X's. Okay, excuse me. I just need to double check here. Okay, so we're going to bring them back to themselves, starting with the one on the bottom. So you're going to go second pin bar, get it in there, second pin bar, second pin, you reach in, grab that diagonal and bring it back. Reach in and grab the other part of that X and bring it back to itself. Okay, drop down, taking the one that's on the bottom first and bring them back to themselves. Okay, reach in, grab the next X and then the next one. Okay, just like that. Going to do the next set of X's the exact same way. You're going to go in, grab the one that's on the bottom first, bring it to the left, go in all of these pins, bands, bring the next one back to itself. Come over here. Now I have, in this section here, I have this. So you might have a different color, but mine is clear. So there we go, I got it. And bring it back to itself, just like it was white, you know, just like the regular X. There we go. Those are really hard to see because they're clear. Go down, grab that X, bring it back to itself. Grab the other side of that X and bring it up and back to itself. So you're going to do that throughout the whole, all the rest, every X that you have, that's what you're going to do. You're just going to bring them all back to themselves. So the next one will go to here, it'll drop down, this one will go here, this one will go to itself there, drop down, that will go here, that will go here, and that will go here. And do all those X's the exact same way all the way up to the top. Rewind if you have to when you get up to your next section if you need to see how I started this. Always taking the one that's on the bottom first. Okay? All right, I'm going to finish mine and I will be back. I am back, and the very last thing I did was right here. This X that was here, I brought one from here up and then this one up to here. And this is what your loom should look like. Okay? Now I'm using LEs, so I'm a little rocky. So that just means that the bracelet's tight for me. I think that depends on, excuse me, on what you're using. So the next thing we're going to do is loop up the single chains. So go in, grab that single chain, and bring it straight up. The next one. And be very careful because they're getting a little tight in there. And the next one. I actually had one band break on me when I was looping these up, so now I'm going to be very careful. So next set of single chains, bring them up, reach in, grab the next one, bring it up, go in and grab the next one and bring it up. So finish those single chains on both sides on 2 and 5 all the way up, and I will be back. Alrighty, I am back, and I laid my single chains on 2 and 5. This is what your loom should look like. Okay, so we are now going to work on the X's. Okay, and in this case, we're going to take the one that's on top first. We're going to be working from the second pin bar out towards the border, and everything is going to be brought back to itself. Okay. So that first, whoop, get on there. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep my hands out of the way, and it sometimes is a little difficult. So I'm going to go in here, grab the one that's on top, keeping in mind that you do have that border band down there depending upon what color yours is. I'm going to grab the top one and bring it back to itself. Go into that same pin, grab the other band, and bring it up. I'm going to go down, up into this pin, third one up, second pin bar, whoops, bring it down, go in and grab the next one, and bring it up and back to itself. Well, so difficult trying to do this. And then one more down. Okay, so you will go into the second pin bar here and then bring everything back to itself, starting with the bottom one. I'm sorry, this pin right here, and that will be, you'll loop up the one that's on top first. Okay, so I'm going to go over here, second pin bar, first pin, going to reach in, grab that top band, bring it back to itself. Go across to here, grab just that top band, keeping in mind that you do have a band across the bottom that's part of that pattern, and bring it back. Go into that same pin, grab, make sure I've just got the one. That one's a little thick, so it threw me off. Bring it back to itself. Go across, grabbing this diagonal here. Go in, grab it, bring it back. Go back where you were. Grab the next band on top. Bring it back to itself. Go across, grab that diagonal going down, and bring it back to itself. Okay, I'm going to finish mine all the way up to the end of the loom. When you're done, I will meet you back here. Okay, I am back, and the last thing I did was I brought this diagonal up first, reached in and brought this one down. Then over here, I brought this one up first, reached in here and brought that one down. So all of your diagonals that are going down should be on the top. Okay, so this is what your loom should look like. So it should be on the top on everything. Now, this has become quite rocky because of the bands I'm using, I'm sure. So if you use the 600 count bands, it might not be as small as mine will be when I take this off. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to reach around. I'm not going to do it to the first one, but second one up. I'm going to reach in. Oh my goodness, Sebastian. He's chewing his wood and making noises. I'm going to grab these two bands on the bottom, and you're going to lift them up and over the top of the peg and drop them. Okay, so look like that. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to reach in, grab just the two on the bottom, that leaves two on the top, lift them up and drop them. Get my band out of there. Okay, I'll do that with you one more time on this side. Reaching in, grabbing just the two on the bottom, and that would be these right here, not the cross band and not the border band. Okay, grab just those two, and see I have them, lift them up and over, and then drop them. And be very careful. You know, I don't want to break any of my bands, so I've been extremely careful looping this up. So you're going to do that all the way to the end of the loom. When you get to the last one, I don't believe you do it on the last one, just like you did not do it on the first one here. So we're going to go in, underneath, just grab the two, that would leave two on there. Whoops, can't see that, can you? Leave two on there, okay? And it looks funny because they're tight, so it's the same color, I promise. Let me get a little better focus there. So just going to grab those two and lift them up and over and drop them off. Well, let loose. There we go. Do the same thing up here. Reach in, grab just the two on the bottom, 1 and 2. You can see there's 2 on there. And lift them up and over that pin very carefully and drop them off. Okay? I'll do that with you one more time on this side, and then I'll leave you to do it. Reach in, grab just the 2 on the bottom. You can see I have 2, and lift them up and over, being careful not to pull any of the other bands off of that peg. Okay? So it will look like this. So do that all the way up, and I will be back when I finish mine. Okay, I am back, and I finished dropping those bottom bands up and over the side of that peg. So as far as the bands that go across, you should only have 2 at the top here. Okay, this is the pattern band and then the border band, so that's fine. But as far as the crossover bands, the X's that are left, you should have 2 on the top of that color that you brought over here. Okay, so I looked at the flipogram, and I was wondering how in the world am I going to do, I don't know if it's what kind of stitch it's called, but how am I going to bring these across? So what I ended up doing was putting cap bands on each of these, and you have 4 sets, so you will need a total of 8 cap bands for that. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go in through the cap band, going to grab that band, the beaded band, bring it across, drop it off, go in, grab the other side of that beaded band, and bring it across. Okay, and drop it, well, come on, drop it off. Stuck, I'm stuck. Okay, and then what we're going to do is go in, and these bands right here that go across, we're going to just bring them back to each other. If I can find it through everything. Okay, and it should be the one on top. And it is. And then grab the next one, should be the only one on there, and bring it across. Okay, I'm going to do that on the other side. I'm going to go in through the cap band and that beaded band, bring it back to itself. Oop, thought I'd missed it. Go in and grab the last one on there and bring it out towards the border. Okay, rewind that if you want to, because I'm going to go ahead and go off and do mine. A little crooked in there. So once we come back, once we're done with that, we're going to come back, finish up the 2 borders, the 2 patterns that are in here, and then the border bands, and then we'll be finished. So go ahead and loop where you have that beaded band, and if you don't have a beaded band on there, you still need to have a band across here. Okay, and you'll still need to put the cap bands on, and you just loop them back to themselves and then loop out. And then loop out. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I will meet you back here when I'm finished. I am back, and this is the top of my loom, and this is what your loom should look like with these crossed over and then out to the side, and you'll have 4 sets of those. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now mine keeps getting rockier and rockier, and again, I think that has a lot to do with the types of bands I use, but you know, it's okay. Oh, and you know, I'm looking at this. Remember when I told you to take these cap bands off the side here? I never should have done that. So I'm going to put them back on. We need them to loop up that pattern, and I did not even realize it until just now. Okay, so let's go to the other side here. 1, 2, and I always use triple, but I suppose you can use what you want. Alright, so first pin bar, first pin, you have a pattern that goes diagonal, diagonal, up, and then diagonal, diagonal. We're going to loop that back to itself. So I'm just going to go in, grab that when it's way at the bottom, and it's going to be kind of tight in there. See if I can get that. Oh goodness. Come on, through everything. Let's try it this way. No. Well, alright, I'm skin this cat. Let's get him over here. All right, I believe I got him. I'm going to bring, yes I did, it back to itself. Should be a little bit easier from here on out, I hope. Yes, it's the only one on there. So diagonal, diagonal. Gonna reach in, grab that's on the bottom, bring it straight up, and you have 2 more diagonals. Okay, reach in, grab that one, and I did not push my bands down. Shame on me. Go in and grab the last diagonal there. Oops, sorry, it's getting all crooked. And bring it back to itself. So what you'll do is you'll follow this pattern up, across, diagonal, diagonal, and then you have 2 diagonals, 1 across, and then 2 diagonals. So finish that pattern all the way up. Okay, I'm going to come over here on this side and watch me have the same kind of trouble. Okay, so go through everything, and I'm actually going to go to the side here to grab it. A little bit easier for me. Very carefully bring it back to itself. Reach in, bring it back to itself. The next one will go straight up and down. Last band on that pin, on that pin or peg, and then 2 diagonals. Okay, so what you want to do is you just want to follow that pattern all the way to the end of your loom. Okay, you should be able to see it when you go in there. And again, on this side, I will have 2 diagonals. You can kind of see them underneath here, right? 2 diagonals, straight up, and then 2 diagonals. So go ahead and finish that all the way up to the end of your loom, and then I will be back with you when I finish mine. Okay, I am back, and I finished on this side. It went from here, diagonal, diagonal, straight up, diagonal, and diagonal. And on the other side, it went diagonal, diagonal, straight up, diagonal, diagonal to the corner there. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to follow the pattern underneath. So we're going to go in, and it's my black one right here. Okay, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to just grab that, and you're just looping it. Well, you know what? I'm looking at this, and I bet you we should probably put cap bands right here also. So let's do that. 1, 2, and I always triple them. Well, when I can. 1, 2, and 3. And we'll go over here to the other one, and we'll add 1 here also. 1, and I'm making it the same color. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm making it the same color as my pattern. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm going to go in, going to grab that band very carefully because it's a little tight in there. Well, I'm going to just put that right there and then give this a wiggle, because there we go. There, because I did not want to break that band. So go in, grab just follow the pattern. Okay, I'm trying to get my hand out of the way here. And I wasn't very good at putting, yep, that's where it goes. So it's up, diagonal, and then to the left. Okay. Do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to go in, I'm going to grab, well, maybe, grabbing all the bands but the one I need. And grab that bottom band there. You can't even see it. You didn't even see me struggling. Oh, look, I got the wrong thing. Well, come on, Sandy. All right, let's try it this way. There we go. Sorry about that. So I'm going to very carefully put that on there and not pull that, and then just give it a tug so it goes where it belongs. Okay, I did that. So straight up, diagonal, and then the next one is to the right. Okay, let's go back over to this side. We're going to follow this pattern. Goes, and that's 4 pins up on the first pin bar. Straight to the right. Go in, grab that bottom band. It's a diagonal to the right. I'm going to reach in, last band on there, very carefully grab it straight up, go in, grab the next one, straight up, and then a diagonal, and then to the left. Go in, grab that next band, diagonal, okay, and then go in and grab that band that goes over to the left. Okay, so what you want to do is you just want to follow the pattern. This one goes to the right, diagonal, straight up, diagonal, and to the left. So you'll follow that pattern all the way up. Finish that pattern that's in there, and I'm going to go over here and do the one on the right hand side. So it's the fourth pin up, last pin bar. Reach in and grab it. It's going to go out to the left. And there are a lot of bands on there, so, and I pushed mine down, but they're still popping up, so just be careful with them. So to the left, and then we're going to do a diagonal right here. Reach in, grab that band, bring it back to itself. Next one is two straight up. It's going to go in, only band on there, and just be careful. Like I said, it's pretty tight, so I'll give it a little bit of a tug first. We don't want to break anything. So if it looks like it's going to be too snug, just carefully put it on the pin and then go in and, move it around so that it looks like a teardrop. Okay, we go in, grab the next one, which goes straight up. Go in, you're going to have a diagonal to the right. And then the last one is this one that goes right here. Okay, so I think you can do that. I think you can see to follow the pattern. You can rewind if you have to. You have the lower half of that pattern, and then it starts right here. So it went to the left, diagonal, straight up, diagonal to the right, and then straight across. So go ahead and finish. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Go ahead and finish that up, and I will be back with you when I finish. Oh my goodness, when I finish mine, and then we'll be working on the borders. Okay? Okay, I am back, and the last thing I did was this half of pattern here. From here I went out, diagonal and up, and same thing on the other side. The right, diagonal, and up, and this is what your loom should look like. And here are the patterns that I just loomed up. Okay, so now, and because I'm sure it's because of the bands that I used, this is way rocky, about 1.5 inches or so up when I push it down on one end, so I need to just be careful with that. So what we're going to do is now we're going to loop up the borders. So I think I told you before, but be very careful when using, when looping up anything, especially this bracelet. Again, it may be because I used a lot of LEs. I don't know for sure, but just be careful when looping up your bracelet. So go in, grab that bottom band, and this one is very tight in here. You have a cap band on the end, so I'm going to go very carefully pull that up and then just make my teardrop. And I'm going to go in and grab the next band and loop it up. So do that all the way up to the end of the loom. Come over to the other side, and it doesn't matter whether you do the left or the right first. Bring the border band back to itself, and whenever I do that and I get a little bit of a tug like that, I don't go ahead and pull that band. I try to fix it so that it's not going to break. Okay, so we'll go in and grab that one, bring it back to itself. Again, this one has a lot of bands on it. It has a cap band on it. So you want to go in, grab that band, give it a little tug, and then very carefully put it back on to itself. And you can see here I don't have a teardrop, but I know that's supposed to be a teardrop. And I don't want my bands stretching, puts a lot of tension on them, and they could pop when you take them off, so we don't want any bands breaking. So go in, grab the next one, carefully bring it up. And I did not push all of my bands down, which I should have, but I think we'll be okay as long as I can do it so they don't pop off. So loop your border bands out, loop them all the way up to the end until they come together, and you'll have that cross band. I think I left one up there, and I will be back at the end of this loop. Okay, so I am back, and this is what your loom should look like all looped up. Okay, now that I'm at the top, I brought my border bands in very carefully. I have had about 5 bands break on me, so when you loop this up, please be very, very careful. What we're going to do next is we're going to go through and grab one end of that band that's on there. I am not adverse to holding on to something and giving it a wiggle so that it goes into place. Okay, so that's one side of that closure band. I'm going to go in and grab, well, where did it go? Right here. No, it's on the bottom. So I'm going to go in and grab that other side of that closure band, and this is probably going to be tight here also. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put my little hook on here so I don't lose it. Okay, I'm going to actually put it on both of them so I don't lose them, and then close them up. There. Okay. And again, I don't like these things being really tight in here. I don't think it's good for your bands to keep them, you know, tight. So that has caught everything that's on there. Double checking. Yes. What I'm not sure of is, well, yeah, I guess that's caught also. We'll see when I take it off. This band right here, it looks kind of funny down here, but I think we've got everything underneath it, so hopefully we got that too. And you know what? I'm a big chicken, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on here, and I'm going to add that to my clip just in case. Okay, so adding it to that clip, grabbing that piece, and grabbing this piece. I think it's going to be okay, but I would certainly hate, with all the work that was put into this bracelet, to have it fall apart. So there. Now I know for sure I have everything. Well, I can keep that clipped. Okay. All right. So this is your loom, or my loom anyway. So I'm going to release the tension and hope I do not break anything while I'm doing that, because they are very tight. So I'm going to release the tension on the right hand side first, very carefully. I never ever pull anything off of my loom, ever. Even the tiny bracelets, I do not pull them off. I don't trust them. Not breaking. Very carefully with this. You need to be very careful with those. Like I said, I've broken, I think, about 5 bands, and I don't want to break anymore, especially not coming this far. So very carefully lift them up and off those pegs, just like that. And I'm going to go down here and release some of this tension also. Goodness. There. I suppose you could do it all the way across, you know, as opposed to, oops, stuck, as opposed to just going up the sides, but that would probably work too. And it's even across, so I think it'll be okay. All right, so very carefully, I'm going to go ahead off and finish mine, and take it off the loom, and then I will meet you back here when I'm done. Okay, so I am back, and this is what I just pulled off the loom. Very pretty. I'm kind of liking those colors too. Okay, so I have, of course, bands to fix, and bands to straighten, beads to straighten, Yeah, very pretty. Let's see what size-wise. Okay, so because this is a pattern, okay, my wrist is 7.5 and it fits perfect. Now I prefer the clasps, but anytime I do a pattern, I always do it exactly the length that the designer has set up. But look at how pretty that is. Very pretty. Let me, oh goodness, I don't know what I did with my tape measure, but I will come back on and let you know how wide it is. Very beautiful bracelet. Again, I have beads to fix. I like them laying down when I do these, but for this particular one, I think I'm going to go ahead and straighten them out. And I never use my nails to hold the band because it will break. Not every time, but it's a good chance that it would break. So I'm going to go ahead and lay those sideways like that, okay? Because then that sort of will give you a circle here and kind of clean that up a little bit. But look at how pretty that is, even with my little rhinestones. And even using the clear, it's fine. You can't really tell so much, huh? Let's take a look at the back. So that's the back. You can really see the pattern on the back without the beads, okay? So, and the side. Very pretty. Beautiful bracelet. Something hopeful. Something hopeful by Clark Michaela. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. Take a look at Clark Michaela on Instagram. Look at her account. She's some gorgeous, gorgeous bracelets on there. Like them and give her a follow for me. You can also follow me on Instagram under Lila's Gigi. And if you enjoyed this tutorial, please subscribe to my channel for future tutorials. Thank you very much, and we will see you soon. I will probably have down below how wide this bracelet is. That's probably my best bet, is to put it there. So again, it looks to be about 2 inches. It may be 2.5, but it's beautiful, just a beautiful bracelet. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you again soon.